This school is not just an ordinary school. It's a school that builds community around the students, the whole child.
We have to be concerned about the entire dynamic of the child in order to reach them in the way that we should.
Considering the whole child, the whole family, and all the pieces that come together to make academic success.
We've been presented with two general approaches for how to best support kids in poverty, and one is a model that's based on extraction, and it's pulling kids from the community, immersing them within a school culture that's separate and different from the neighborhood culture where they come from. You know, sometimes there's this sense that like their home, their community is in some way inadequate or it's wrong, and I think that's damaging. And then I think there's this secondary model working hand in hand with the community, trying to uplift and empower an entire neighborhood. And I think at the heart, that's probably the one where we're going to get lasting change. The work of schools is at its heart relational work, but so many of our interactions with our staff and with our families becomes purely transactional. If you talk to a lot of principals and said, when was the last time you went to a parent and said, where do you see your kid in 15 years? What are things that you value and you think are critical in an outstanding school, right? These are actually the most important questions, and they never get asked because we're so busy dealing with all the transactional stuff that we never get to kind of the heart of the issue, and we never ask these kind of core questions. What we've tried to do here is reinvent what family and community engagement looks like, asking them what they need, and also asking them what they can provide.
That's where open dialogue, open communication, and leadership helps bring us all together.
I want them to feel like we're partners in the work. I want them to feel the only way that we can do this is by doing it together.
It has to be a partnership. It has to be. We can't do it any other way other than that.
There's a lot of times a desire for people to want to help schools, and a lot of times they don't feel like there's a vehicle or an avenue for them to do that. You know, sometimes kids just need a little bit of a break, and they love to go see Mrs. Kennedy or see Miss Dorsey or any of our wonderful volunteers, so they just do a great job supporting our kids. We have folks from the community, we have parents that volunteer, and we have partnership programs that we partner with. Each month we get about 1,800 hours of volunteerism. Just from the reading program, we have 60, right? We've got another 10 in the food pantry. We have a ton of parents that just come in the morning and they help us with the breakfast. And then we have 20 that help out in the classrooms. I can't thank you guys enough for all the work that you do. You just continue to do such good work with our kids, and we appreciate you.
Thank you, Mr. Manko.
Our kids live in the middle of a food desert. They don't have access to a lot of natural food. It's hard for kids to make the type of academic progress that they need when each day they come to school and they're thinking about the next meal that they're going to get. So 2 years ago, we added the food pantry program.
Take as many as you like, then one out of each.
At this point, it's completely parent and volunteer run. We give away about 16,000 pounds of food a month, and that's all food that's getting into the hands of families that really need it.
String beans.
This food gives us strength, and that strength gives us the power to keep on going. And that keep on going means we're going to stand tall in what we believe in. It might not be much, but it's enough. And that means that whatever we do, we have to do together.
Life situations can rock a family to its core. Mom hasn't worked, how do we get her some food? Mom needs to go to social services, who can take her? The child has had a death in the family, who can pick them up and bring them to school? We babysit each other's kids. We feed each other's kids. It is a must that we step in where we're needed. We cooperate one with another.
You know, when we added this after-school programming, we were able to give kids the opportunity to, you know, take piano classes and have robotics and do karate and do yoga and, you know, explore something that they're passionate about. Our program is multi-generational. We have parenting programs, early childhood play groups, dance classes, Zumba classes, transforming the school into a space that is a hub for the community where not just students learning and growing and being empowered, but an entire community is learning and growing and being empowered. Hey, you.
Have a good lunch, Mr.
All
Manko.
right, you too. See you guys. All right.
We have a hard-working principal. The fact that he's willing to get in the trenches in most cases, you know, it makes you to want to strive.
A lot of times we go into situations where we see leaders and there's just such a clear hierarchy, and I think that's the death knell of a lot of organizations, because every person in this building is important. I'm not any more important than anybody else. I just have a different role. You see yourself as just one more piece of the puzzle, as opposed to being the kind of central piece in which everybody rotates around. All of this is made more possible because it's a very flat organization. It does mean it has to be all hands on deck, and everybody has to take responsibility for the decision making. And then people can kind of pick and choose their areas of expertise and things that they feel passionate about and empowered by, and be leaders within those particular domains.
It really does make a difference to have leadership that is not afraid to put people in charge and delegate, and then kind of step back and step back in when you need to.
That's the part in him being a great leader, because he could easily say, well, I'm the principal and this is what we're going to do.
I don't have the answers, you know, like far from it. I have some ideas on what I think would make a good education for kids, but I don't know all the answers. And just by reaching out to different stakeholders and asking their opinion and sitting down in a room and talking through things, I think that ends up just, everything becomes more collaborative, and then the product that you end up with ends up being a lot better. But then beyond that, you have a bunch of champions, right? Because everybody has a joint stake in the concept that was developed.
Being in a school building where everyone have the same vision and everyone's working towards that. And so when we come together and meet, everyone has a say. It's not just a vision that one person is throwing on to everyone else. Everyone is learning from one another. Everyone is growing. It's going to help the community, the students, everyone is going to grow from this.
You have teachers that are striving, you have children that are happy, you have parents that are informed and concerned. It is awesome in its dynamic.
And you can see it in how teachers interact with parents, parents interact with the leadership, parents interact with kids who are not even their own kids.
There's a sense of belonging and a sense of urgency and a sense of responsibility that goes both ways.
I want to be a servant leader. I want to be collaborative. I want to include many voices. I want to let people know that I care, and I don't just care about your kid and about educating your kid, but I care about your voice and how you feel like we can do that together.
When we get on one accord, it's nothing that we can't do, nothing that can't be accomplished. We can do more together than we ever could have apart. And that's the bottom line.